I've made some terrible decisions, and they've been very scary.
Like joining a podcast.
Yeah, joining a podcast. When I set up the business, I also proposed to Michelle.
At the same time?
At the same time, literally. We just managed to...
What did she say?
No. Go away.
Yeah. Good morning and welcome. Well, it may not be morning wherever you're listening, but good morning anyway, because it's morning here. Morning, episode 105 of the Tech Break podcast with me, Adam Walker, Hubspoke Media, and you over there. Who are you?
I have no idea.
Mr. Andrew Reid from Resilient Business Systems.
It's been a bit of a hectic week again, although I'm now seeing light at end of tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Light at end of tunnel.
Literally getting the last few Windows 10's machines replaced. Windows 11 shoved in. All good, but phew, we can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, that has really tied you up quite a bit, hasn't it?
Significantly tied us up. But no, all good, all good.
Good stuff.
How about yours? How was your media shoot yesterday?
Oh, mate, how do you know?
Because I emailed you about a forthcoming podcast, and I got your out of office.
Yeah, so I've started doing that. When I've got a full day's media, what I'll do is I'll put an out of office on to just say, hey, by the way, if this is like you need an answer now, speak to one on the team. Yeah, I was up at concert, filming a primary school promotional video. It was brilliant. Like, I love it. It's great.
Absolutely.
Like the school promotional stuff is some of my favourite thing to do, because you essentially go around all the different sort of subjects, areas, classrooms, loads of teachers that just like. Teachers are amazing.
Oh, the best.
They're really
ever.
like some of the teachers that I have the pleasure of filming are just absolute gems in society, and it's hard to forget in our busy lives. You know, like we've dropped the kids off at school this morning, this that, and the other. You know, those teachers are there day in day out, looking after our kids essentially, collectively as society. Yeah. And they're brilliant. Like, they're just so good. So, we were doing all sorts. I had the drone flying around, although we had heavy fog on the way there yesterday.
Oh, gosh, right.
Yeah, but we got a break in the weather. The fog had cleared. And I was like, let's do that now. So we got that done. And the students were awesome.
Yeah.
Just absolutely brilliant. So that was like a full day. I drove back, got out of the car, and I was like, oh, my back, because cameras on my neck, shoulders. I do try and wear the right straps and things like this, but... It's physical.
Oh, good for you,
so,
my friend.
So, no, it was really good. And then what else have we been doing this week? Quite a few meetings are going on in terms of projects and contracts and things like this. But just lots of sort of digital work, computer work, basically. Sat there. But it's been a great week.
Exactly. And we have had lots of good responses about our 20th birthday. That was quite a pleasant evening.
I know. Unfortunately, I was away.
I know, but it's one of these things. But young Adam, bearded Adam, did a sterling job with the video and photography.
They did. I saw
it.
It
was really nice to catch up with everybody.
We'll come back to that.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho.
It's not Christmas.
Oh, damn.
But we'll come back to that. But you have prepared some notes. So we've both prepared. But you can't say any notes for me, because I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But you've got something about 105, I believe.
I have, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so episode 105, if you didn't hear at the start.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just got some very quick, interesting facts. Did you know in the year 105 CE, Chow Lun's paper-making breakthrough?
I did not. Do you know, this is like my favourite section of the newspaper that comes out. It tells you, like, CFAX was the one that I talked about. Yeah, Go on then, carry on, I love these.
So it's arguably the most single important tech platform, because without paper, where would we have been?
Paper is a platform.
Absolutely.
Look at our latest platform.
Absolutely. Element 105 is dubnium. It's classed as a super heavy element. I did not know that, but I'm just saying, it's just
dubnium.
Lovely Googling this morning.
Heavy base.
ISO 105 is colour fastness testing in the textile industry.
Okay.
Yeah. TCP port 105 was a legacy internet directory service.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Not TCP, the medical stuff.
Not stuff that you gargle with when you've got a sore throat.
Yeah. No.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
No.
Now, here's a question for you. On a typical UK keyboard with extra Windows keys, like the extra one, guess how many keys there are?
I'm going to say 105.
105.
So is it 106 now with a Copilot key?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Right, there
absolutely.
we go. Yeah.
105.
We'll save that for next week.
Absolutely. 105 is a triangular number. meaning if you arranged dots in a triangle, 105 dots makes the perfect shape.
Boggled with that one.
Okay. Google's recently announced, I believe, Willow quantum chip features exactly 105 qubits. And recently achieved the world's first verifiable quantum advantage, running algorithms far faster than classic supercomputers.
Yeah, so quantum computing
Yeah, now that's something.
is, for those that don't know, it's like, imagine you took a load of supercomputers and slammed them into one, completely changed the physics of how a computer works to the next gen, is that's what it's deemed to
Definitely.
be. It's
Mind-blowing.
yeah, phenomenal in terms of what the processing power could be. So when you look back at this, I've been thinking about this recently. I was talking to a friend about it. It's like when you look back at the 70s
Yeah.
and they had a room for a computer.
Yes.
At the moment, we're like the equivalent of that if you compared it to quantum computing,
Yes,
I
we
would
are.
say.
I can't wait for that to break through.
Yeah.
105 is a composite number with prime factors 3, 5, and 7, making its factorization 3 times 5 times 7. And it's divisible by 8 numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 15, 21, 35, and 105.
Andy has this written down, by the way.
Of course,
He's not just pulling this out of his
reel
brain.
that up. 105 minutes, or 1 hour 45 minutes, film directors claim is roughly the ideal length of a film where people
you know,
don't get bored or sleep.
That's a really good point, because you see on DVD case, I mean, even that sounds old.
Yeah.
On the DVD kit, it would often say 104 minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Roman numeral for 105 is CV.
Okay. Yeah.
I am resolute.
I am resolute. Don't take me back there.
Exactly. Lot 105 is the last track on Blur's 1994 album Parklife.
What a band.
Absolutely. In Radioland,
Yeah.
think of how many global allocated FM broadcasts end in 105. Kiss 105, Classic FM 105, Magic 105.
Very popular.
Very popular. In 1960s, some car futurists considered 105 miles per hour the dream speed limit.
Why?
I
Is the
know,
first question.
I know.
But
I'm going
okay.
to leave the last fact for last, because it's actually a test for you.
Okay.
Question that I think you'll know the answer to. In international standard lengths, what is the standard length for a football pitch in metres?
105.
How did you know that?
Just guessed.
In UK, 105
Yep.
is the number that you report power cuts.
Didn't know that. Very useful fact.
Very
Thank
useful
you for
fact.
telling me.
Okay, it's the public service tech and resilience number.
Well, there we go.
Resilience.
It's not you, though.
And Rob should know this if Rob's listening. In Land, New Zealand,
Yeah.
right, 105 is the non-emergency number to call. Well, there you
I
go.
didn't know that either.
Last one. In photography land, Mr. Walker, apparently 105 millimeters hits the sweet spot for working distance and background compression.
I'd agree with that.
Why?
Why? Yeah, good. I'm glad you asked that.
I will actually let you, because that's all I Googled.
because when I've got a wider frame,
Yeah.
so wide lens, and I put a low, this could blow up on social media. Be kind. But basically, when you zoom into someone, you can fill the frame with that.
Yes.
You can create further distance. So when you're zooming, you're naturally making everything bigger. I'm trying to explain this. I know how it works in my head. You're naturally making everything bigger. But if I zoom in onto you, rather than a wide lens, rather than focusing on you like this, you're very narrow.
Right.
And the compression to the background, it's like the compression with the lens.
That's exactly what that
Yes.
says.
Do you know the other issue you have is when I shoot with a wide lens, right. Your face can look slimmer. But if I suddenly put a zoom lens on and zoom in, the lens distortion can make your face look fatter.
Yeah.
Basically. So 105 is really good because what you get is a really nice bokeh or bokeh. Don't hit me in the comments, people. And that is, do you know the blurry background?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so things turn into, it depends on the aperture blades on the camera, turn into circles and
You know
squiggles.
your stuff, my friend.
It kind of blows, what that's on about is it just smushes that background
Yeah.
really nicely and obviously you'll have a nice sharp in focus person. So it is a really.
I think that's exactly what that says, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't even read it.
No, I know you didn't, which is brilliant.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you fill the frame with the person, but everything behind at a distance is sort of enlarged, but not in focus, basically.
So when I was Googling this morning, I found that, and I was like, oh, right, questions for Adam here. So I expanded on that, but apparently it's the sweet spot.
Yeah, so 2.8, that's pretty good. Like, standard, you can go lower. Some portrait photographers might jump on and go 1.4 or 1.8, and it's just how blurry it then gets, the way of thinking about it. If we look at this microphone, and we set this band in the middle as the focus point, it's how much towards the end and the start of the microphone is in focus. So the lower the aperture number, i.e. 2.8, will have immediate that band, say, arbitrary. If I set it to f22, that is actually to infinity. Is how people describe it. Yeah. So the idea is the whole microphone would be in focus. The lower the number and the smaller the number, the less that window of focus is. To the point, I've got a photograph on the wall of a cow.
Yes, it's your background on Microsoft 365.
Yeah. So the nose is in focus.
Yes.
But the face of the cow
is all blurred.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because I was shooting at a low aperture.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I love that photograph.
Yeah, it's great, and I love it because it just brings the cows, like, it's sunny. It's a Jersey cow, big wet nose.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to lick the lens. Actually, that's what it's trying to do. Yeah. And that just gives you a really good example on how focus can drop away. So that's just over the length of a cow's head.
Yeah, it was.
So sometimes when you're shooting at 1.4, even 1.2, you could focus the nose, by which point the ears are starting to drift out of focus. Yeah, so there we go.
Well, there you go.
Bit of technicals this morning for the
I thought that was quite good, that was episode 105.
I like
105 facts.
That's
I like to drop that in occasionally.
Yeah. What I forgot to add the other day, this links to what I'm going to talk to, actually.
Oh, good.
What I did do on Tuesday is I had the pleasure of talking to a cohort of Darlington College students in the market.
Oh, right,
Indoor market, Victoria Market in Darlington. And they are launching a pop-up shop. Pop-up shop doing... Checking the pop filter on them.
Exactly, I am.
Yeah. Sorry, Alina. Pop-up shop for basically running their own stall and business, like entrepreneurial sort of business. So what they were doing is they had a day with ambassadors teaching them all about what business is, how to do marketing, you know, the basics in terms of understanding what cash flow is and this, that, and the other. And then I got invited along very kindly by Darlington Borough Council to go and say, here's what 9 years in business has been done for me, and here's some lessons that I've learned.
Well done you, sir.
So with that in mind, my segue is, whilst you didn't turn 105...
Didn't.
You turned 20.
We did.
So, and I missed your party.
I wouldn't say you missed it. You had better prior engagements with your family.
Yeah, but I still missed it. You did move the date, in fairness. But anyway, so... Today, you're a guest.
Am I really?
Yeah. You're the guest for episode 105 of Take a Break, because 20 years is a massive achievement, both for yourself and Michelle.
Yeah.
But actually, kind of like what I did with the students, and I haven't primed Andy with this deliberately because I want it to just be relaxed, you know, not too like formal structure in this, that, and the other. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about who, what, where, when, how you set up all this sort of stuff, your journey, the lessons you've learned. And then I've got some things from my thing that I did the other day, my notes, which I know will match what you're going to say in some regard. Not 20 years ago.
I'm not looking forward to this. Anyway, what are you doing for the weekend?
Yes. So, what's your name? Where do you come from?
This is great. Hi, I'm Andrew Reid from Resilient Business Systems Limited, a tech company in the IT. Sorry, a tech company. Basically, I'm your IT provider.
Yep. He's actually my IT provider as well.
My tagline is, you run your business, we look after it. IT.
Yeah, IT, capital letters. I love that. I always have. I've always said that too. So, why on earth did you start up, Andy?
It was interesting. A very, very good friend of mine who has recently just retired, because they've been in business for quite a long time, was running his accountant's PC. I was working at the time at a lovely company called, what used to be called Barcode Solution Centre, but it changed to Challenger. And basically, Jack, my friend, you know about this computer stuff, Andy. Yeah, can you help me set it up? And this was way back, obviously 2005. Computers were just about coming into life in terms of like home PCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was changing dramatically.
It was changing dramatically.
Yeah, laptops and things started really taking hold at a size that wasn't ridiculous.
Correct. Tech was always around, but it was just about, I feel, coming around to the right stuff. And basically, Jack, I visited Jack and B, his good lady wife, and I set up the PC. Back in those days, you did backups on floppy disks and CDs. So I was basically saying, look, every week or when you can, back up the information from this computer to this disk, to this CD. I kept working at Challenge Tech, and then I got a phone call about 3 or 4 months later, disaster, computers crashed, I need to recover all the data. Okay, where's your backups? I've not been doing any.
And this is before, I think we take for granted cloud backups.
Oh, 100%.
So for those that are like, cloud backup sounds, Office 365, Google Drive, Dropbox, people might just they'll install the software on their computer and it miraculously backs up to the internet and away you go.
Yeah. Funnily enough, just jumping, we had a lovely customer yesterday, Annalisa from Smart Carbon. She just ordered a brand new laptop. And I was helping her out with some things, and she went, can I ask, when I got the laptop, everything was there. And I mean everything, even my shortcuts on my desktop and stuff like that. And I'm like, yep, that's the cloud. And she's like, but I only thought you backed up in Teams. I went, no, OneDrive backs up. And she went, I literally opened up the laptop, signed in, and I was like, oh, I can work straight away.
I did that the other week, when we had the live webinars, I logged into the laptop Adam uses, because he was producing. I was like, I could do with, I was in the room, but I was there if something went wrong more than anything else. And it was like the final 2 events. So I was like, right, I just need to send a couple of bits. So I logged onto the laptop, signed in with my details, ping, same experience.
It's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant. You're just like, that's so much easier. Originally in the day, you'd be like, right, I'd have to install this, I'd have to install that. But obviously, cloud-based working, unreal.
So anyway, after a very scary time for Jack, but good time for me, I actually managed to recover the data.
Right.
So back up again, and fast forward 3 or 4 months again, another phone call, computer's gone again. Something to do with again, back in the days, UPSs, you didn't have one, so it's like dodgy electrics. I don't know. But where's your backup? I haven't had the time. So yet again, hours and hours and hours, but I managed to recover the data. And basically what he said was, listen, how about I pay you a small amount of money every month to look after me in terms of my IT, come down, do the backups, and. Bearing in mind also back then, there really wasn't remote software.
Yeah.
I could do some things, but not everything. And one thing led to another. He passed my name on. And I approached my then boss, and he very, very, very kindly said, great, I'll support you in everything that you want to do. I'll give you 6 months. If it doesn't work, I can take you back into the business. If it does work, then good luck to you, Andy.
How good's that?
Honestly, I can't take my hat off enough to Kevin. He was a very, very...
See, often people think it's like, I got made redundant, but I don't have... It was just the game of being local authority worker. I got made... People often think, I hated my boss, and therefore I left in a storm of fury. That sounds awesome. I don't think people always realise that. It was amazing that he did that.
It's very, very kind of him. And I then actively started looking for work. And again, it's interesting, Adam, because one of the things that was very humbling at the 20th birthday party was a lot of people came up to me and obviously congratulating me for 20 years, but they were just like, you're such a nice team. We love working with you. You are approachable. Obviously they don't know me, but you're approachable. You just do everything for us. You go that extra mile. You go above and beyond. We can always trust you. So again, I'm like, God, thanks. Thank you. That's very kind, very kind.
But I suppose your business was founded on kindness, right?
100%, mate.
Yeah,
And I think
with
one of the things that you know as much as more than anybody, my whole thing back then and still today, giving is the new selling. As luck would have it, 3 or 4 people that had also left at the company that I was working at, they knew that I was now sort of like in the IT business, in the IT world, and I got a phone call on the Friday morning from a lovely gentleman called Danny, and he basically said, "Andy, can you help me? I basically cocked up. One of my guys is going on paternity for 3 months. Can you fill in for him? I know you're good with IT, you know." I was like, "Yeah, okay then, fine." Where? He went, "Edinburgh." I was like, "Okay, when?" He went, "Next Monday." I was like, "Wow."
Friday to Monday.
Friday to Monday. Yeah. So over the weekend, we negotiated my contract, which was fine. It was lovely for him. And then Monday morning, I literally got on the train and landed up in Edinburgh, working for a lovely, lovely company, Registers of Scotland. Walked in and introduced to people and basically just started helping.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you do know me, Adam. It was just like, how can I help? What can I do? Right, I need you to do this.
Yeah, you're trying to learn the ropes at the same time of the business.
Absolutely understanding. I'm like, I'm not sure what's this LRS system that you're using. What's this? What's that? What's the other? And really, to cut a long story short, that 3-month contract turned into 9 years.
Wow.
Because of who I was, they just kept extending my contract a year at a time, because at that time Registers was going through some quite significant change in terms of their technology, in terms of their processes, and I just kept being given bigger projects.
So let's take a step back a second then. So how did that first 6 months feel? So the first 6 months, how quick did that Edinburgh job come across first, just so we can timeline it?
It's probably, I would say, within a month of me starting.
Right. So that first month,
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. So you don't know about this new contract?
No, I don't.
Because I set up myself, and then, similar to you, a subcontracting opportunity came in.
Yeah.
I was like, great,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So that first month, how was that? Obviously, you had this one chap and he referred you, but what was that? Did you just have him at first? How quick did other people come?
No, I probably got another contract quite quickly after that. So that was quite useful. So again, in the industry, I made a lot of friends. I was always interested in tech, as you know, from early days, and I was always expanding my knowledge. I wanted to learn how to do websites back then. And if you think about your business, Adam, back in 2005, websites were probably just in their infancy.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were fully HTML coding basically. Certainly, I think the key thing to say is they weren't as accessible as they are now.
No, I mean, I might have been WordPress round about then, but as far as I was aware, I was learning HTML coding.
I need to look at one. I'm going to Google that.
Yeah.
So that first month, you got a couple of contracts.
I got a couple of contracts.
How are you feeling about the future? What are you like? I don't know how. Like I'm entering into this business. We'll see how it goes.
I've always been glass half full. I'm always the optimist. I was always going to either make it work or remember I had that 6 months fallback. So I could always go back and go, sorry, didn't work out. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So that, if you like, gave me a bit of a comfort blanket. Yeah. But I found that
2003 was WordPress.
Okay,
so 2003. So in its infancy.
In its infancy, version 1, yeah. Again, I hate blowing my own trumpet, but I am so tenacious at driving things.
But you have to be in business. Yes, you have to be, because who's going to do it for you, right?
Right, and as I was saying previously, I am very humbled by the people that thank me, but I just want to learn and I just want to do the best for my customers. So I just kept on learning. That first month, I was taking Jack, and I was taking another particular customer. Bless that. I don't think the customer. No, I think this company doesn't exist anymore, and that was because of COVID and other things. But I was basically trying to understand their IT systems, and it wasn't a mess. But I'd been referred by a friend who I'd made learning about websites And he was working in this company, and his boss was talking to him, going, God, we really need somebody in IT, but I can't afford to employ somebody in IT. And this chap basically went, I know a person. I came in, and I think I got interviewed, and then a week later they offered me and said, yeah, fine, we'll do it. And that was starting off, that was 2 days a week. Again, at my whatever rate I was at that time. But that just about covered me. With Michelle working full time, it just about paid everything. So it is important, and you will understand, it was a heck of a pay cut for me from running my own business.
Step off.
Yeah,
the cliff,
absolutely.
isn't it?
It's a step off the cliff. You are used to that salary every month, and then suddenly you drop to the bare minimum, and you have to suck it up, pull in your pants and just go, okay, we can live, but none of them are fancy meals and things like that anymore. So also bearing in mind that when I set up the business, I also proposed to Michelle.
At the same time?
At the same time, literally. We just managed to...
What did she say?
No, go away.
You had to work on her.
Well, oddly enough, because of who I am, and I can't believe I'm telling you this, it was with Eddie, who works with us, obviously, as you know. Eddie and Wendy and Michelle and myself, we were at the... God, I can't even remember the name of the pub. She's going to kill me for this. It's in Appleton Whisk somewhere or somewhere, but in a pub. And we got onto the subject of me and Michelle had been together for quite a while. And Wendy, I think, got some memory, but I'm sure Wendy said you should be getting married or you should propose. And in my true inevitable fashion, I turned to Eddie and said, would you like to be my best man? And Michelle just went, sorry? Eddie, do you want to be my best man?
So did you propose to Eddie?
Yes. I went, do you want to be my best man? And he went, yeah. I said, okay, should we get married, Michelle? And that was my proposal to her, which obviously she said yes.
What a nice story.
But that's a lovely story to have. So yeah, we were then saving for the marriage, and the marriage, the wedding was going to be on a shoestring again. At that time, God rest my mum, Mum agreed to make Michelle's wedding dress.
Oh, really?
She bless my Auntie Maria, God love her. She was a seamstress. My mum was very, very good at, and they got Michelle to look at wedding dresses, look at which one she particularly wanted, and then Auntie Maria, my mum, just made it.
Beautiful.
And she's still got it today. And my mum, bless her, every time we went round to see her, she just kept swearing at Michelle. She hand sewed every single bead all the way around this dress. And mum's hands were bleeding. But yeah, so that was very nice. But I only had one. I laugh about it now, but it was 1 year to remember.
So here's the point, case in point, I think. So people often, I've spoken to friends and just people you meet and this, that and the other, and they often, if they're not in running a business, you often hear, I'd love to run my own business.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you give it a go? Just start something on the side separately, kind of what you did. You sort of fell into it a little bit, but that gave you that taster, and then you step away. But often life. So the decision for me was made, right? I got made redundant. I'm looking for a marketing role. I couldn't actually find what I wanted. I'd done my level 6 marketing. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to ground it in video. I just knew that was going to take time to afford the cameras and everything else.
Yeah, of course.
But the decision was made for me by my former employer, who were like, "We've got no cash. I'm afraid you need to go." So that was made. So, but I think equally you could argue that wasn't a good time for me to set up a business because I had a young family.
Yeah.
And in some regard, you can look back at it and go, that was a nuts decision, like, to do that, because why don't you just get a job and do that? So I think what I'm trying to say is that just proves my point in terms of there's never, if you're always waiting to set up a business, there's never the perfect time to do it.
There isn't.
Because there'll always be something, a wedding. Yeah. There'll always be something though where you can go, well, what do we do? I had a young family at the time. Well, less young now, still young. And there's still a lot of juggling that you have to do. But I think the first lesson there for me for years, there's never the perfect time to set up a business based on these perfectly still conditions and having savings behind you and this, that, and the other. Sometimes you've just got to go for it.
And I think that's, we've said this before, my tenacity, my ability, my stupidness to say yes all the time is good, but Michelle grounds me. She'll be the one go, okay, but how are you going to manage that? If you say yes to that, what? So she makes me think, whereas my first reaction is, yes, I'll help. It's like, no, how? How are you going to help? What are you going to do? So she grounds me in terms of that, but we believe it's the perfect balance. Because without me being big-headed and going for it, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But without Michelle dragging me back...
It's like Michelle guiding your ambition, I think.
Absolutely. No, honestly, I feel as though it's the right thing to do. I'm constantly charging out there, constantly reading up about the latest thing, going, right, we'll try this, we'll try this, we'll try this. And she's like, whoa, slow down. You can't. And it's like, oh, okay, then fine. So I do put some things on the back burner, but I'm constantly learning myself. I'm constantly pushing myself. So that first month, I think we agreed that we would put a lot of things on hold. I was very lucky in terms of landing the contract. We just about managed it.
If you hadn't set up, though, you would never have come across that opportunity, right?
Well, absolutely, because then Danny wouldn't have reached out to me knowing that I was available.
That you're available, exactly that.
Because obviously I was working full time, so I couldn't do anything else.
There's another case in point. You may not be able to see the opportunity that's coming because you don't know it yet. And it's only when, so you set yourself up self-employed, you made yourself available to the world of work, and someone went, we've got some work, whereas they wouldn't have done that knowing that you're in the job, because they weren't looking for a full-time member of staff.
Correct.
They wouldn't have been able to put up a full-time salary for you, and it's in Edinburgh, and they wouldn't do it. Whereas you're going, I'm available and looking for work. What about this opportunity? Suddenly, it changes the dynamic.
It does. 100%.
So by setting up the business, you're also creating this new and interesting opportunity. The problem is you don't know it yet.
No, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So that first few weeks was very scary. First few weeks was very scary, in fact, where, I'm learning on the job. I know my stuff, but at the same time, I get introduced every single day to business aspects that I'm unsure of or unaware of. But again, go on.
Oh, right. Okay. You're going to set up a business. You know your IT. So this is a really good point. You know IT, right? So you're there, you're setting up, you know IT. Do you know how to run a business, set up a business, operate a business? Right. Take me through that journey then, yeah?
That was probably one of the scariest things I've done. I mean, I know we said jump back in terms of the contract, but over that weekend, Danny was going, right, you're limited, aren't you? And I'm like, yes. So that decision to be limited was...
Yeah, so this is a limited company.
A limited company. I could
Not
have
just
set
Andy
up
is limited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am limited. But I could have set up as a sole trader.
Yeah.
But again, from speaking to people, including Kevin, including other people in the business, they were saying limited, I believe, for what you want to do and provide a service is the best solution.
Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons why people may choose to go that. This is not advice,
no,
but this is sort of knowledge. So limited company, everything, the company in law is treated as if it's a person.
Correct.
So the contract is with the company and not with you.
Correct.
In this case, liability is limited. So this is from a personal business owner standpoint. Liability is limited to the company. Obviously, if you sign something saying you'll take personal liability, no. But it's limited to the company. And the other thing that I often find crops up is then people realise that, because with a limited company, you have to have like audited accounts by an accountant, which incurs additional cost. And at that point, people often go, I'll just be sole trader. That
Correct.
Can work out for people.
Of course
and you can be sole trader.
100%.
The other thing is, if you want to be a limited company and you want to like stand it on its own and protect yourself a bit more personally, you can do that as well.
And again, Jack was very influential in helping that decision. One of the scary things was that when I was speaking to Danny about taking the contract, I had to have professional indemnity.
Yes.
And that, again, that's scary. Because when you start reading all of the contracts, and basically for those people out there, forgive me if you don't know, if I cock something up in a business and they sue me, the professional indemnity allows me to go, sorry, but these people are backing me now. Because without that, because you think about it, I'm where I am today, Adam, I can go into your business, I could do something, and I could accidentally delete all of your data.
Yep.
And then where would that leave you as a business? you would want compensation for that. That's what professional indemnity was.
Yeah. So and this is a point. It's not to like loiter in I'd call it the darker side of business, the scary bits. That's the scary bit when you're setting up all this, because it's a bit of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? But you've obviously very quickly you're having to do your due diligence in terms of learning what a limited company is.
Yeah.
The best thing about when I set up my limited company was one day I went to a redundancy thing, talked to the fabulous Mark from Tedco,
Yes,
absolute
guy,
legend. Yeah. He kind of he was just really helpful, gave me loads of answers. And that night I registered. It was £13, I think it's 20 now, to set up my limited company. And next day I walked in and said to my colleagues, I'm a director of a company.
Hey.
And I just remember it was just so much fun. Like being able to say that on the other side. Obviously there's seriousness around it, but it was like, because they were like, are you going to find a job? And I was like, I've found one. I'm a company director. Yeah. Like, it's quite funny.
It is.
But I think in the early days, you've got to do a huge amount of learning, because this isn't IT bits.
No, it's not.
These are not things to do with IT.
I had no idea, mate.
So what did you need? You needed a bank account. You needed your insurances sorted out. You need to look at contracts and how you do that and what that all involves.
Do you know what's interesting? Now I look back, I found trusted partners. I've found my trusted accountant going, what's all this thing that I have to do? I found a trusted employer in Danny, and he was very helpful in terms of going, in order to be a contractor, you need this, and this.
Yeah, like, I need to see these documents.
Absolutely.
And you can go, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I was like, well, okay then, Jack, what's this? Reaching out to other people like Kevin and things like this, and what do you need to do? What advice would you give me? What advice did you have when you set up your company? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that first month before the actual phone call contract was just like, oh my God, what have I done? But at the same time, exhilarating.
Yeah, it's exciting. I remember feeling massively excited, and I was just sat at my kitchen table with one customer.
Yeah, which I had, I only had two or three customers. But literally getting up at 4 o'clock going, I want to go to work, work.
It does make me want to do it again. And I think that's the thing. It is really quite exciting when, when I officially said, hey, I'm doing my DJ stuff.
Yeah.
That's all. I just love it. Like we did launch the podcast studio. That's all exciting. It is a really exciting time.
It is, but also I'm fully aware of how much time and effort and money you've put into the podcast studio where we first started next door. But now look at it, thrive in that. But I also go back to your point about people going, I'd love to run a business. And it is cliched. They all say, but what if I fail? What if you succeed? And I was lucky. I did have that backdrop. I did have that ability to sort of like look back and go, I can always go back. But also, I think I'm that type of person that goes, well, fine. I tried it. Didn't work. I'll go find another job.
That's why I went full-time in Hubspoke.
Yeah.
Because because I was doing some part-time work, young family. I was also doing contract work as well. But I made the conscious choice. In fact, I walked away from there was like restructuring going on, interviewed, and they're like, right, here's what we want you to do. And I was like, until I do Hubspoke full-time, I'll never know whether I've made a proper go of it.
My biggest issue was when actually the contract came along. I still have those other customers. So remember, I was 2 days a week.
Yes.
I had to approach him and say, please, may I drop it to 1 day a week? And that was the Friday. So Monday to Thursday, Edinburgh, Friday, looking after my customers.
Yeah.
One of the things that I am eternally grateful for is that over the weekend when I was chatting to Danny, and this is something that I never wish to say to people, but if I can give anybody advice on setting up a company, be as honest as you can. So when I spoke to Danny, I said, right, Danny, one of my biggest concerns is I have other customers. Okay, I'm contracting for you, and I will give 105%. See what I did there?
Very good, yeah.
I will give 105%. What you must understand is occasionally I may get emails and I may get phone calls for help from my other customers. I promise you that I will try and keep them to a minimum. I explain to my other customers that unless it's an emergency, please email me. But I said, what you will see, Danny, is I may be doing some of your work, but occasionally I'll be emailing my customers saying, sorry, Adam, try this, try that. He agreed, but he warned me. He went, other contractors who you are working with may look upon that unfavourably, but let me trial it with you. If it becomes too much and I see it interfering, then I'm really sorry, Andy. And I'm like, Danny, I 100% agree, mate.
Yeah,
and it never did.
But the counter to that is equally, they need to understand that they're working with a contractor.
Correct.
Who's got other contract.
Yeah,
work with a business. So,
yeah.
like, if they don't want that, that's your full-time, go find an employer member of staff, isn't it? Not to sound harsh, but it's the reality. But you're right, honesty, having that dialogue is really important that people do that, because then you can say, well, at least we talked about it.
Well, absolutely, mate, absolutely, and at least I got that out. And I think from both those efforts over the 9 years, I went through having a number of different managers, a number of different people that I worked with, and I think every time I got told, right, you're working on this project now and you're reporting to Adam.
Yep.
I would go to Adam and I would tell them, because also what was exciting, scary, is as I was moving through Resilient, I was still getting other inquiries. So I was gently growing. Not that I was ever actively out there pushing myself, but this person spoke to this person. And as God bless you, Adam, this is what you say. Oh, you need Andy. I was slowly but surely, and fast forward. And
I think what I actually say is, I need you to have an Andy. Exactly. I need you to have an Andy.
Absolutely. But I think in 2006, that's when I approached Eddie and I went, I need help, mate. He was then doing his driving business. He was driving instructor.
Right.
And he wanted to continue that. So I basically said, look, I'll employ you to look after the business when I'm not there, because it's now getting too much. Again, having that understanding with yourself, I was beginning to take more and more emails, more and more calls throughout my day working up in Edinburgh, and effectively I could see and foresee, I'm like, this is going to get me into trouble.
I need to triage
I need to triage the calls, and that's when I approached Eddie. Eddie, God bless him, he was a PC enthusiast. Me and him grew up working with computers, but he was more of a gaming fanatic than he was an IT fanatic. The fact that I knew him, he had the same passion, he had the same honesty, he had the same belief, and I basically had to train him. And one of the things that he taught me was that a person needs to do things. I can't just teach you parrot fashion. Here's how to work this thing, Adam. 1, 2, 3. Because 1, 2, what happened there? So he was instrumental in telling me, unless I understand the process, Andy, I will never be able to fully understand the process.
I'm just having a look. So I'm looking at my notes from the thing that I said. Not the thing that I said, the thing that I talked about the other day, and I made a point of going, having to teach someone what you do.
Yes.
Fabulous Alina over there behind camera. When Alina came in, I had to teach her the next, obviously Alina had got to a point with her education. Her starting point was fantastic. Good work, Alina, well done. But I then had to teach her the next step for commercials, and what seemed apparent to me is the moment I started trying to teach Alina either the way we did something or how a bit on Premiere Pro works or whatever, I realised that a lot of the time, I didn't realise I had standards. I thought it was just, well, we do the work and it's and it's like, no, I've got. I was like, do I have? And I'm like, actually, I think I've got the standard. Like for us, it's like this is the standard in my view. And I'm forever going, can we put a little bit more stabilisation on that shaky bit of footage? Or I hate shaky video. I saw one the other day, local business, and it's like, here's our food, and there's so much shaky footage, and it makes my and the person on the street won't necessarily notice it. All I can see is shake, and I'm just like So, but I didn't. That as an example, I didn't realise how sort of obsessive with that I was until I had to start teaching Alina.
Yes.
And that teaching is a fantastic way of understanding and also unpicking why you do things the way you do it.
Why you do things the other way.
Because they often go, yeah, but why?
And it makes you think. and it makes you realise that your way might not be the best way.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm very open with all of my staff is, and we literally had this example yesterday. Eddie had to set up a new router. He said, I need to find a PC. And I went, just use the Chromebook. So for those out there, Google Chromebook, exceptionally good. If you only want to do web-based work. To configure a router, you need to find your IP addresses and stuff like this. And he then was saying to me, well, how do I find out what IP address I've got? I'm like, open up terminal. And he went, there isn't such a thing. I'm like, yes, there is. Walked over there. No, there wasn't. It was Crush or something. So suddenly, I was on the back foot. And I was
20 years in.
20 years in, I'm going, I'm thinking of Zorin.
Yeah.
Just in my head, I'd got confused. So he was saying, well, why can't I just use a computer? Like a Windows computer? Because obviously we all know the Windows. And I'm like, yeah, but hang on, blah, blah, blah. Turned out, about 15 minutes later, I went, Eddie, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Just use the computer.
just use the computer.
Plug into it.
But what I'm saying there is, I'm going back. I will always sit back sometimes. And again, it's age and it's experience. And I've heard you do the exact same thing, Adam, where you've asked Adam or you've asked the lovely Alina to do something for you. You've told them how to do it. And they said, why don't you do it this way? Because it's better, it's quicker. You said something about Adam the other day, and you went, why don't you use the blog that I wrote about?
Yeah, my answer's okay. What you've got to learn is to say, okay, then.
Yes.
Like when you start having stuff.
Absolutely.
You got to go, okay, then, because I've got, no, do it my exact way and my way alone.
No.
They're not going to be very happy like working with me.
The other thing that's really hard when you're taking on staff, and I know we're jumping, mate, I apologise.
No, that's okay. You're still in the
zone.
I'm still in my timeline.
The thing you find very hard about staff is that if you were working for me and I asked you to do something, if I know you're going to fail, I need to let you fail.
Absolutely.
I will lose time and
I'd
money.
say within context, obviously.
Within context.
Yeah, I know you mean that.
I know. Thank you for clarifying.
So, like, you wouldn't want to fail on a client's
no, goodness me, no.
front of thing. But yes.
If I asked you to do something, I have to let you fail. And the reason being is if I constantly go, no, Adam, do it this way, you will never learn.
You don't find the limits, do you?
You don't. And therefore, I do tend to push people a little bit too hard, but I need to find their limits. And when I make them, or when they do fail, they come to me and I'm going, I knew you were going to fail. And jokingly, why didn't you tell me? I said, if I'd have told you, we'd have never have learned.
Yeah.
And when we walk up the stairs here in Business Central, where it's got one of the quotes, isn't it? The quotes on the wall. If you've never failed, you've never learnt.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
So there's things like that, like learning from your failures is the most important. Because actually, and I think this is the other thing I was saying to the students the other day was like, don't be afraid of failing because that's where you do all your learning. And the other thing I said is don't be afraid of, when a piece of work doesn't go to plan, shall we say, or a customer, there may not be. You and the customer, to be diplomatic, you and the customer may not be on the same page, right? You could be
That's very diplomatic of you.
Yeah, you could be having, it's a bad experience.
Yeah.
But what I've said is those experiences are the best sort of teachers because you can look at where it went wrong, where it failed, and what happened. So obviously you've set up, you've done your 9 years. Or you were in the process of doing your 9 years. You bring Eddie in. So I'd say that's now. How far in did you get Eddie? How many years?
2006. He's been with us for 19 years.
So right, okay. So, you're starting to develop that mid-level of the business at that point is what I'd say, mid sort of journey. Yeah. At that point then, so you've suddenly got Eddie, you've got your contract. How much are you worrying about losing a contract? How much are you worrying about where you find your next work opportunity? Because suddenly you're taking on another salary. You need to sustain that salary and you need to make a profit so that you can be paid yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, the contract, as I say, was 3 months. So I think those first 3 months were just a blur. I'm not sure I can recall anything. I was learning so much. Danny at the time just called me a sponge. He said, you just soak up everything. And I was also not not afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm trying to say is that you are employed as a person to do a job, and I think you would do the same thing. If I asked you to do something or deliver something and you knew I was asking for the wrong reasons, you would shout up and go, no, you need to do it this way, and these are the reasons why. I think a lot of contractors, when I felt as though I was in that contracting market, they would just go, Adam told me to do it. Yeah, but it's wrong. Don't say anything. You know, he's told you to do it.
Don't speak up. Yeah.
Don't speak up. He's told you to do it. Keep your head down. And some of the things, God bless, without mentioning any names, I also got introduced to public life, as in it's a public government.
Yeah.
What do you call them? They basically provided a service to the public, and they were employed by the government and the council, whatever. And I became very aware of people and their 9 to 5 jobs and their...
Yeah, you can see the challenges and limitations.
The challenges and limitations of people that were just going, nope, I'm not putting my head above the parapet. I am not doing any more than what I have been told to do.
Yeah.
Because they were invested in that life.
And that, by the way, is not judgment on the people.
Nope,
that
absolutely.
There's a whole host of things in terms of like what environment are they in? Are
Correct.
they allowed, do they feel that they're able to speak up and contribute? Because these are all things that then, as a business owner, you've got to think. So if Eddie thinks that you're wrong,
yes,
Eddie should be able to say, I disagree with this.
Correct.
And then go, why?
Yes.
Which is kind of what we touched on. So I think immediately you started to realise, and one of my things I've said that I realised that I was the bottleneck.
Yes.
You realised you were becoming the bottleneck because you were doing a contract. So then what you did was you brought Eddie in to then start putting those things in. So you do, what's that 6 to 9 year period like then? So you've got Eddie in the business, you're working in this contract. What sort of stuff? When did Michelle come into the business? Or was she in from
probably
the start?
came part-time, first of all, into the business. She started doing a little bit of accounts. As you know, she runs my life and she runs the business. So she eventually had to start planning me and the work, knowing that I'm available Monday, not available Monday to Thursday, but I'm available Friday. So she would start liaising with Eddie, who would then go, I'm stuck on this particular job and I need help. And therefore, Michelle would liaise with the customer and say, look, this is the honesty bit. We're struggling with this particular piece of work. What we'll do is we planned it in for Friday, and it always seemed to be the Friday, because the other balance that I had is most of my customers knew I had a contract, but some, not that I lied to them, but I didn't tell them, because I felt as though that might jeopardize the contract.
And I think to come back on that, sometimes people can perceive that as being the barrier. I get it. Like, people can see, oh, well, if he's got a contract, he doesn't need it. Like, he won't be able to, and it's not true.
No.
Like, I can do this. So that was, it's just like, we've got the team.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
We got asked the question the other day, do you have capacity for this?
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't be sat here if I didn't, and I went, and if we won a big piece of work to do, I'm looking at growth. I'm looking at expanding result. But I think there's nothing wrong with being clear with those ambitions, isn't it?
Correct.
But equally, at times, it does get flagged up as,
it does.
What if you're busy doing this?
No, I agree. I agree, Adam.
But that comes back to the truth element. Right,
It comes back to the truth element. I think if any of my customers at the time had asked me, I would never have lied to them. I would have gone, no, absolutely, yeah, I've got a contract. But that contract is, sustaining my particular thing. It's just like another business. You've got Eddie and Michelle to back. So Michelle then started becoming the organizer, the receptionist, the planner of my time, the invoicer.
So we're going to lean into that now.
Okay.
So you've been running the business yourself. You've got Eddie in who's supporting some bits. You've got to let go.
Yeah.
And you've got to let someone else do the drive. Like, you need Michelle to do the driving at this point in terms of your head down and working. What were the lessons that you learnt there? Very
similar to your sticky notepad thing with your mum.
I talked about that the other day.
Absolutely. Everything was in my head.
Yeah.
A lot of the technical stuff I'd got out of my head and into Eddie's head. But what became very apparent, Adam, is that if Eddie and I were not available and Michelle took a call, she had no idea what was going on. And that's when I took the decision, and funnily enough, our good friend Mitchell came. I invested in some free ticketing software because I needed to funnel the customers. I needed somewhere that Michelle, if the customer rang up and said, Eddie fixed this last week and the same thing's happened again, Michelle had a reference point to go back to.
You can create a record, basically.
The other thing that I am very clear with myself, everybody says, and I understand how mad this is going to sound, Adam. I've been running the business for 20 years. I don't think that I run the business. I don't believe I run the business. I just feel as though I do the things that are right for the business, like getting the contract and then suddenly going, I need to employ Eddie. Like trying to funnel everything. I'm like, what's the best thing? Surely it's a ticketing system. So
here's the point, right? But that doesn't sound fancy.
Nope.
Does it? But that's what running a business is.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. It's
you're
odd.
not like swanning into a room going, hey, I'm this,
No.
Because often people think that, that the business owner is that. And, it's about processes and systems. There is I found there's a bit of a transition when people are getting used to just working with you to then working with a team.
Yeah.
And then also, like systems are the best things that you can do. So like the ticketing system's a great example. Someone picks up the phone, I've got a problem with this, that and the other. It's like, can you just fill out the form? Or Michelle would probably fill out the form for them if she needed to. But it's like, at scale, you're like, I need you to log it accurately so we can understand and look at it. But in many ways, running a business, it's not glamorous. That's not networking and canapes and champagne, is it?
No.
But the key point is looking at the really basic level function that technically you're not billing anyone time to do that, if that makes sense. So you need to look at how we do that. So we're using Teams and Planner and all this stuff, as you know, to try and like go, right, where are we record when we do work? So if a client says to us, what have you done in the last month?
Yeah.
We record it all in Planner now.
Yeah.
So that I can sit there and go, here's a list of completed tasks, and it's tagged up with the dates that we've done it and like a checklist, and we can put comments in, rather than us trying to go, because that's so much more. Let's say we design this leaflet, which is just Andy's notes. If I go, what did you do this month? And I go, that.
Yes.
And go, there's a sheet of A4. But what if that sheet of A4 took 3 hours of meetings?
Absolutely.
So all of that gets logged. So it's important sometimes to make sure that you're logging it. And that's what being a business owner is, because if I didn't, let's say it did take 3 hours of meetings, we didn't just put a note on to say, done meetings, 3 hours, whatever. All they'll see is a PDF and kind of forget about the meetings. And and we're like, yeah, but do you remember we had all this back and forth? And it's just record keeping and keeping things
Absolutely, mate. And I'm also conscious of the time. I think quickly fast forwarding, I've made some terrible decisions and they've been very scary.
Like joining a podcast.
Yeah, joining a podcast. I've made some amazing errors.
Yep.
And again, I think I said this I said to somebody at the birthday bash, one particular customer, again, I won't name him, but I did do something pretty bad for him. And we laughed about it afterwards. But one of the things that he thanked me for is like, listen, Andy, we're all human.
It was never with intent, though.
It was never malicious. You made the error. What I like about you is that if anything comes up like an error or something that we've done, what I like about you is you acknowledge the error. You apologize for the error if it was my mistake. Mm-hmm. You give me solutions. You give me options. You explain each option. You give me what your recommended option would be. And he went, the biggest thing I like about you, Andy, is if, let's say, in relation to this error that I made, you then immediately said, and here are the things I'm going to put into place to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
And that was, it's also very, I wouldn't say again, like my lethargic. I don't know the right word, but having somebody saying that to you or coming out of the other side of what potentially could be quite it was a difficult situation, yeah. The sense of relief, but also I laughed about it back, and it's a bit of a laugh. some of the guys will remind me, like, oh, like when you, and I'm like, yeah. But I got away with it.
Yeah.
It's not about getting away with it. It's about being absolutely, completely transparent. And I always say, what did we learn from that?
And you have to.
And 100%.
And you have to dust yourself off.
Pick yourself back up.
again.
And I think I've also mentioned this on the podcast. If one of, if Eddie or Michelle or Dan does something wrong, I take that very difficult decision to go, how did I let you make that mistake? What did I do wrong to let you make that mistake? And that in business is something that I can never teach anybody. I just learnt it by thinking constantly, long nights going, how did I get myself into that situation? And how can I never do it again? But also,
I've had those conversations,
you've had those conversations
with myself.
Absolutely, mate. And I know the particular thing you're talking about. But I also genuinely believe, and I said this to everybody. I also said it in the speech. I am where I am today because of customers. Even you, my friend. If I hadn't have met you, I would have never got to the podcast, which I will never forgive you for.
You'd still be marketing on a Morse code.
I'd still be marketing.
It wasn't that bad.
No, but your customers define you. I don't know if that's a phrase I should be using, but all of my customers define who and what Resilient are. We constantly adapt. We never would have got into mobile device management. We never would have got into broadband providing. We never would have got into VoIP providing if the customer or my customers hadn't turned around and went,
could we have this?
I don't want to talk to, forgive me, the BTs or the Virgins or whatever. Can you just do it for me, Andy? Well, I'm not a broadband provider. Why aren't you? Okay. Off I go, find, talk to people and go, how can I become a broadband provider? Or mobile MDM, how can I provide some software? Where did I find Spiceworks? I sit down on a night time. And that's the other thing. Running a business is not 9 till 5. You know this.
I know this.
I spend hours on a morning, on an evening, just sitting there going, how do I catch up with the industry? And you know how fast the tech industry runs. I'm always looking. I introduced a lot of my customers to Teams well before COVID. Some of them didn't want Teams until COVID.
Yeah.
And I was, again, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, mate, but thank God I did. Thank God I was going.
Well, it was equipped and they were ready to go as soon as that happened.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at particular things, whether it be Teams at the time or whether it be Copilot now. I'm always looking going, I think this Teams at the time, I said to Michelle, we had a server, we had a NAS, we had all that type of stuff. And I went, I think people are going to start moving to the cloud. I genuinely believe it. I think we should try Teams. And we hated it at first.
Yeah.
But if we hadn't have done it, if we hadn't been at that forefront when the customer did want me to go to Teams, or, prior to COVID, they were going, I need a more agile way of working from home, VPN in, connecting to the network. I'm going, have you seen this Teams thing? Clunky as it is.
Yeah, you don't need to go into your own network anymore.
Correct. And then thank God, when COVID hit, and I don't mean that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Thank God that people had Teams when COVID hit.
You'd already equipped your customers.
I'd already equipped my customers.
Yeah.
And for those who hadn't, Teams was suddenly the way forward. Copilot, I was mentioning AI and Copilot years, about I can see it coming. I can see what it is. I've started introducing customers. I'm not sure I'm as good at it anymore because the tech industry is running so fast. But I just sit there and I'm looking and reading and ingesting and going, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think to probably summarise is you've always, your 20 years, it's a fantastic achievement.
Thank you.
But obviously you've had to do it looking outwards at the same time. So it's developing, and this is what it is to run a business, right? Looking inwards, processes, systems, understanding where the bottlenecks are, trying to put things in place, developing that. How you deal with ongoing things, how you deal with new work that's coming in, and this, that, and the other, equipping that process and system in place with staff in and make sure everyone knows what they're about. The next step is going, right, well, if we just do what we're doing today for the next 10 years, it's not going to be relevant anymore.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is I need to keep looking outwardly, because it's my job as the business owner to kind of go, what are we going to do next? What's the development in technology? You set up your business before YouTube.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. unless it was 2005. So it was either the birth. I can't remember. It's maybe 2005. It was created.
Goodness
From
me, I don't believe that.
You set up your business same time as YouTube, but you didn't have a wealth of knowledge and stuff available to you on. The landscape has changed dramatically.
I'm looking that up. YouTube.
Yeah, Facebook wasn't doing its thing. All these sort of things that go on now. iPhones. They're around that time
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Yeah, do you see? So the landscape has changed. So you've had to change with it and constantly adapt and develop.
May 2005. I set up the business in April the 1st.
There you go. Yeah, so you did.
Wow.
Yeah, so the landscape that you set up in and what it is now is completely different, but you've had to look outwardly to move with it. Obviously, the internet infrastructure has changed massively, which is why cloud stuff wasn't really a thing at all. It would have been done informally, I imagine, by people, but not to the level. So, I think as a business owner, you've always got to move forward. Even just in my shorter experience, AI, like captioning, I talked about on videos that didn't exist. Photoshop has it built in, all this sort of stuff. So looking outwardly, you've TikTok didn't exist when I set up. So, keeping an eye on it going forward. I think the biggest thing of all for a business owner is just not give up.
There has been times.
Yep.
There has been times when I'm just going, why am I?
I don't think there's a business owner that couldn't say there isn't.
No, and it's very long hours and it's very difficult. But to summarise my feeling, I don't think I could be in a better position. I absolutely adore and love my job. What gets me up every single morning, regardless of how many things I think I'm behind on and how many things I'm doing, I enjoy every single day of my work. There are times when I am practically crying, going, "Oh my God, I just don't know how I'm going to do this." But you'd only be human to do that. I can't be constantly on a high.
Yeah.
But I'm also conscious that everybody looks towards me, Michelle, and goes, "Come on then. What's the next thing? What's the next thing?"
Absolutely.
And how are we going to keep going? And it's a big risk taking on employees. I'm not only looking after my own livelihood, it's their livelihood.
Yeah, and you feel a responsibility with that, right?
But if I didn't keep going, it's natural that I'm like, well, I need this, I need this, I need this. And I would like to say we have such a good atmosphere in the office. I've seen it with you and Alina and Adam. It's such a laugh. Whenever I walk in, it's joking this and joking that. The fact that last week I could go to Adam, knock on his door and go, "Can we take the mick out of Adam? Can I sit at his desk and we take a video?" And he's instantly going, "Yeah."
I'm like, there's a video of Andy sat on my desk. I'm like, what are you doing?
But I think that whole thing, is the way to.
If you're not enjoying the little things, you got to question why you're doing it, I think.
And I get it, mate. I've got other friends that when I ask them who are running their business, they're telling me it's a drain. I've just got to feed this hungry beast, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I am constantly feeding this beast, and I don't like it anymore. I'm like, why are you doing it? It's because I've got the livelihood of these people and stuff like that. I'm like, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reasons, mate.
Fantastic. Have you enjoyed that episode?
That's very
good.
kind. I did not expect that.
Well, I thought it was very fitting.
No, it's very kind. Thank you so much. That's
and
really kind.
It's always good to hear origin stories of business, as we know, and we featured on here.
Absolutely.
So question is, what are you doing the weekend?
I had to get Michelle to tell me.
Did you? Yeah. Is that what you did a second ago? Did you miss? What am I doing?
What am I doing? Because
she literally organises everything.
Absolutely. What we are going to tonight is we have been invited to the Dolphin Centre Hall, Stronger Community Awards 2025.
Yes.
How do you know yes?
I was invited to that.
Oh, unfortunately, can you not go?
Apologies, I think I've forgotten to do it. I'm going to go. I've nominated someone for it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the Academy Excellence, the Exceptional Student.
Yeah, I was there last year. It was brilliant.
Yeah, so that's where we're going tonight with Jason and Donna from the Business Club. So we are doing that as well. So
brilliant.
That's looking forward to that. And then Saturday, working on my gaming desk.
Yep.
So getting some lovely things coming together. I'll have to show you some pictures before and after next week. And then Sunday, just lunch with my father and chilling out. How about yourself? DJing, rugby.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Just turn up. I'll let you in.
I talked about it and everything.
I'll sneak you in.
No rugby game this weekend.
All right, okay.
For me, there is a game going on. I'm not playing in it. It's the 1s and the 3s are playing.
Nice.
So no game this weekend for me.
DJing?
No DJing this weekend.
Goodness me.
I am a guest at a party.
Oh.
40th. But they were like, could you bring some speakers? So I'm getting some speakers shortly to take along. But I'm very much a guest. But then I'm like, so what music are you playing? He was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, do you want me to sort of playlist? Yeah. So I can do it quite quickly. Obviously, I've got things lined up. So,
I saw that.
And then I'm like, do I just put my anyway?
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, so I'm a guest there, and then just family time all weekend around that.
Nice, but it has been another busy week for you. I've hardly seen you.
Yeah, I've been
out.
in and out. I was at the the presentation stuff, meetings, and this that, and the other, just running around. It's been good. Been a good week actually.
Oddly enough, at the birthday bash last week, I bumped into Liz Tiger Dove.
Yes.
She attended, and I was asking how your joint project was going, and apparently going very well.
It's going very well.
It's going very well. So well done to you. On
we
that one.
are getting close to launch.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said she can't, as usual. It's not confidential, but she was like, I can't tell you too much, but we're getting very close to launch.
Yeah, we are.
So that's really good. She's loving
the meetings I've done this week. So
yeah, well, that's interesting.
Liz is an absolute star.
Loved it.
So yeah, no, it's good. So yeah, just other than that, just nice weekend of it. Maybe do a bit of jobs. When I was off before, well, I did some work from home. I actually also decorated a bedroom at the same time. So there we go. Not at the same time.
That would be awkward,
I did it in
isn't
spells.
It? Yeah.
I did it in spells.
Yeah, sorry, I've got the format. I'm painting.
Coat of paint, do a bit of work. Coat of paint, do a bit of work. So yeah, but no, all fun and games. Well,
Good
thank
stuff.
you for sharing.
Thank you. That was very kind, mate. Very, very, very kind.
Other than that, people, see you in the next episode.
Exactly. Bye.
Bye-bye.